Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to this review for Bates Motel, Season 5, Episode 2, The Convergence of Twain. Now, what I have to say about this episode is the fact that this was actually an episode that I wasn't really expecting too much. I had goosebumps all the way through the last half of the part of the show, but what I really enjoyed about this is the fact we got to see Norman's mother's brother come back into play again after he winds up leaving Seattle after his stepson doesn't even want to have anything really to do with him or anything. He winds up going back to where Norma is and everything, trying to seek some type of sanctuary with them. Then he finds out that, hey, my sister is dead. And he winds up, you can actually tell in his mind, he's putting the pieces together that Norman, there's something wrong with Norman, although he already knew that from the very beginning of season 1, that there was something wrong with Norman and Norman had to do something with it. But knowing now that he's putting the pieces together and he's actually seeing, and you actually get to see that in his head, kind of putting the pieces together of his sister dying and Norman killing his sister, because there's no real reason why Norma would have died or killed herself. It didn't make any sense to him. That being said, with him going back over there, seeking sanctuary, him going after Norman was perfectly normal and it was perfectly well executed. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't forced. It was perfectly well done, in my honest opinion. And then you also have the girl that Norman is kind of falling for. And she kind of looks she looks just like Norma. As a matter of fact, I love how Norma ends up confronting Norman about the fact that, hey, look, this girl looks just like me. Why would you want to go on ahead and date someone just like me? And you already know for a fact that Norman is going to wind up killing her anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But the whole point of it is it's good to have that built up there. It's good to actually see some type of feelings that Norman is having because he actually sees his mother in her. So there's that. And then another thing, too, that I really liked was you see the tension built up between the sheriff and Norman when Norman goes ahead and visits the sheriff, and the sheriff is really pissed off at him. And he wants to take Norman down, but he can't because he's behind bars, and he's trying everything he can possible to take him down. But every single time he gets close, Norman either kills somebody close to him that's the sheriff's department, or he winds up doing something to the sheriff. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen as far as that goes, but that is actually a plot-driven thing. So I wonder if the sheriff is going to be the one who winds up taking him down. Then you also have this, of course, the stepbrother is probably dead because Norman winds up being dressed up like his mother. He walks in, sneaks up behind him, and pretty much kills the stepbrother, Norma. And then behind him is the guy who played in Sons of Anarchy, Opie. Opie is standing behind him and witnessing the whole entire thing. And Norman is acting like Norma, and Norman doesn't realize, hey, look, I'm talking like my mother, and he's actually thinking that he's his mother. You actually see the voice change as it progresses and everything else, how it's laid out, and you actually hear Norman's voice in his mother's, well, the way that it's actually mounted and everything, where the mother is speaking, but really you're hearing Norman's voice. So you actually get to see that. You actually get to see the bartender look at Norman like he's crazy too, because he's talking to the bartender about everything that's going on with him and stuff like that. So you actually get to see a little bit of woohoo, his crazy side. So I actually thought that was actually pretty neat to actually see. To me, is my favorite season. Last season, not so much. I didn't really care for last season too much. But this season, it's wrapping up nicely. I love what they're doing with it. I can't wait to see what they're going to do next on the next episode. But as far as this episode goes, they knocked it out of the park, in my honest opinion, with this. Because because I was actually on the edge of my seat whenever Norman has that wig on and he winds up killing the stepbrother of Norma. And then you actually get to see everything else come in full swing. Another thing too is the guy that he winds up at the hotel the guy's staying at, which is the Bates Motel. You actually get to see a little bit of his side, and so happens to be he's the sister of the girl that Norman has a crush on, and he doesn't want his secret to get out, and only Norman knows that. And so now Norman has leverage over the brother. So that's going to be played out pretty nicely, I think. So anyways, tell me what you guys think. Did you guys like this episode of Bates Motel? Tell me what you think below. Tell me what you didn't like. Because it doesn't matter what I think. All I care about is what you guys think too. So don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up. And until next time.